All right, y'all. I'm gonna need y'all to buckle up because this might be the wildest video I ever had to put together. While ICE is out here uncovering terror cells, human traffic rings, and cleaning up the streets, CNN is literally pushing an app to help people avoid deportation. You can't make this up. This is right versus wrong, but watch this.
The Trump administration steps up ICE raids and mass deportations. One tech developer is pushing back with an app designed to track ICE activity in real time. It's called ICE Block, and it's controversial to say the least. CNN's Claire Duffy is with us now. How does this work, Claire, and what are the legal implications?
Yeah, John, I talked with Joshua Aaron, who is the longtime tech worker who developed this platform, and he said he really wants it to be an early warning system for people about the location of immigrations and customs enforcement officers. So he says he does not want people interfering with those officers' activity, but he does want people to be able to avoid them altogether if they want. So you open the app, it looks like a map, and users can tap the map to report an ICE sighting in their area, and then everybody who uses the platform within 5 miles of that sighting will get a push alert. This is a free iPhone app. It is anonymous. Aaron says he doesn't collect any user data. And what I think is really interesting about this in this moment is we've seen so many of the biggest leaders in tech supporting President Trump. But Aaron is sort of an example of the fact that there are people within the tech industry who are really resistant to Trump's policies. I asked him what he would say to those tech leaders who, for example, were at the inauguration. Here's what he told me. Take a listen.
I understand that you have shareholders to report to. I understand that you have employees that need their paychecks. But at what point do you say enough is enough?
And John, I should say that ICE did not respond when I asked them about this platform and about Aaron's opposition to their activity.
Wow. Yeah. Y'all watched it. This is definitely real. CNN is promoting an app that tracks ICE in real time. An app designed to help illegal immigrants dodge federal agents. Could you imagine? Could you imagine the outrage if there was an app that alerted people to avoid police, the FBI, or the IRS? I'll take the IRS app. I'm just playing, but no, seriously. If that was a app like that, man, it'd be crazy. But for ICE, apparently that's okay. That's the new norm. Just sit with that, man. But while CNN is busy helping people escape the law, here's the type of people ICE is actually catching.
Breaking news. Brand new information on an alleged human smuggling hub in Van Nuys.
Air 7 was over the home just a few hours ago, and this was seen near Woodley in Satakoy. Our Mark Cotarobis is live in the newsroom with details. Mark.
Yeah, David and Giovanna, Customs and Border Protection providing us new information. Within the past 90 minutes or so, the agency also posted this new video of an arrest. CBP says that they executed a federal search warrant today targeting a human smuggling hub tied to national security threats. Two people were arrested. 7 other Iranian nationals were taken into custody earlier this week at the same address. Some of those people were on the FBI terror watch list, we've learned. CBP says the smuggling network has trafficked people from adversarial regimes, including Iran, posing direct risk to U.S. national security. Now, this all comes less than a week after the U.S. bombed Iran's nuclear sites. There was some concern Iran would look to retaliate.
Now, this ain't no hard-working family narrative right here. These are what they're telling me, Iranian nationals. Some of them are definitely on the FBI terror watch list, running a full-blown human smuggling operation. Wow. A national security threat? Really? This is who y'all want to protect? This is who's hiding in plain sight. And then you got CNN out here putting people on the platform to introduce the app to make it seem like they're just trying to get information, but we know what really happened. Want to block the deportation force from stopping it, make it make sense. But it ain't just terror threats, y'all. Let's bring this right back home. Let's talk about what's happening in everyday neighborhoods.
What I witnessed firsthand was hundreds of emergency police calls to the migrant hotels for every conceivable crime imaginable. There were felony assaults, there were sexual assaults, there were robberies, there were public nuisance complaints, there were misdemeanors, there were migrants committing crimes against local residents, and there were migrants committing crimes against each other. There were hundreds of ambulance and other emergency medical service calls to these locations. The strain on the local government resources was tremendous, but there was not $1 of state aid or assistance for Cheektowaga or its surrounding communities, while New York City received billions of dollars. What I witnessed firsthand was...
So what I just heard was hundreds of calls, hundreds of 911 calls, robberies, sexual assaults, felony assaults, disturbing the peace, public disturbances, migrants attacking residents, migrants attacking each other. And guess what? $0 in state aid to the towns dealing with it. But New York City, oh, they getting billions. That's the real price of open borders. And when ICE finally shows up, look what they have to deal with, y'all.
Yo, what the f*** are you doing breaking this window, dog? Hey, you can't break this window.
Isaac Torres was on his way to visit his grandparents yesterday when he spotted federal agents in his neighborhood and started recording.
Yo. Yo, don't be f***ing breaking this window. No hables, no hables. Hey, no hables, no hables, no hables.
Take a look. This video shows one of those agents smashing the rear window of this white pickup truck. And just moments later...
Yo, hey, he's bleeding, bro. He's f***ing bleeding from his head, look.
Several agents seen surrounding the man being detained. One of them smashing his head into the ground.
He wasn't resisting at all. Like, they just straight threw him to the floor and, like, they started pushing his head on the concrete. And then that's when I think he opened his head.
Blood clearly visible all over his forehead.
They didn't care at all. They didn't care at all.
This morning, neighbors still gathering around where this all went down, wondering why such force was necessary.
Not only did they pick you up, but they beat you up. This is unacceptable, but this is the sentiment that is brought by the current administration, Donald Trump's administration.
As, like, federal agents like that, like, I feel like they shouldn't be treating people like that. Like, throwing them to the ground, tackling them, like, forcing them down, like, that's not how they should be doing things. That's, like, completely wrong.
And Isaac tells us he was able to get in touch with that man's family. The family says that they were able to speak with their loved one yesterday, who at the time was still complaining about his head hurting. Now, as far as this community, like I said, they are still very much upset about what happened. And actually, they are telling me that they just planned a protest, what they're calling a peaceful protest for this afternoon at 5:30 p.m. on the corner of Amar and Hacienda Boulevard. Reporting live in La Puente, Monica de Anda, ABC 7 Eyewitness News.
Monica, thank you.
Now, we don't have the full context of the situation. I'm just under the impression that ICE is doing their job. And, of course, we can talk about ethics and how things were handled and all that. However, there is certain protocol. And from what I'm saying, these are two grown men locking themselves inside a truck, refusing to come out. So ICE literally had to break the window just to do their job. If you belong here, what are you hiding? If you're illegal, why are you refusing to comply? Somebody explain that. And look, if you think this was bad, wait until you see this next one. I can't play the audio to this, but this is men climbing a tree to dodge ICE. I'm telling you, I ain't never seen nothing like this. Climbing a tree to dodge ICE. We've seen them on top of buildings and all that. But this is what it's come to. You know, the previous administration, they tried to break the system and set it on fire and let it burn. But it's not just people. It's not just the people ICE is after. It's the ones defending them that are just as loud and proud about breaking the law.
All of you out there in Los Angeles waving those foreign flags, and in the same breath you're screaming about your American rights, you need to sit the hell down because you sound damn stupid. Let's get one thing straight. You do not get to torch American cities while you're flying some other country's flag and then cry about how you're out here trying to defend freedom under the U.S. Constitution. Because you're not. You're a freaking domestic terrorist, period. Illegal immigrants, the people that you're out here rioting and burning down Los Angeles for, do not have constitutional rights. Why, you may ask? And I'm going to say this loud and clear for the people in the way back in the cheap seats, because they're not American citizens. And if you are defending these criminals who are not even supposed to be here, guess what? You're just as guilty. And for all of y'all out here losing your damn mind because Donald Trump sent in the National Guard and you're out here screaming, it's unconstitutional. Right. Oh, really? Well, let me help you read, since you clearly skipped that part. Because when you join the U.S. military, you take an oath to defend the Constitution from all enemies, foreign and domestic. And guess what? Ding, ding, ding. You're the domestic enemy. You are not protesting. You are terrorizing. You are not defending the freedom. You are burning it down. And that is why the National Guard is coming in. Not to silence you, not to oppress you, but to defend American citizens from you. You don't get to destroy this country and then try to hide behind the rights that you are actively trying to burn down. You are not the victims. You are the unhappy volunteers. And the real Americans, we're done playing nice.
She is speaking straight facts. Now, I know some of y'all don't like all the yelling and whatnot, but sometimes the truth needs volume. You waving foreign flags while screaming about your American rights? Nah, you don't get to torch the country right hiding behind the Constitution that you clearly don't respect. And while the streets are dealing with all this chaos, this is what leadership looks like, excuse me, when it's actually done right.
President Donald Trump signing an executive order today to create the National Center for Warrior Independence, to be located at the sprawling West LA Veterans Campus at Wilshire Boulevard and the 405 freeway. When the new center is developed by 2028, the White House says it could house up to 6,000 homeless veterans. The nonprofit Veterans Collective says it welcomes the news and hopes the West LA campus can serve as a model for future veteran housing sites across the nation.
We've been able to drive down the homeless veteran population considerably over the 10 years by about 50%. But there are still, for instance, here in Los Angeles, 3,000 veterans living on the streets. So we need to continue to do more. If we can successfully create this model, a nonprofit joining with the VA, both doing what they do best, then that's a model that can be replicated across the country.
Stephen Peck says the nonprofit Veterans Collective has already raised $1 billion to help fund its homeless to housing initiatives to create a thriving veteran community on the West LA campus. There are already more than 1,000 vets housed there. This is a big story. We will continue to follow it.
Finally, a president redirected money from housing illegals to housing homeless veterans. I have to literally clap for that one. To helping Americans struggling with addiction, to getting jobs and homes for people who fought for this country. This is how it should have been the entire time. The entire time. And it ain't just leaders waking up. Guess what? It's regular, everyday Americans too.
When I tell you, the first time I ever voted was for President Trump this past election, I feel like one of the best decisions I ever made. Like, are you guys tired of winning yet? Because I am not. I am not tired. So as you know, birthright citizenship, right? And let me just speak on it to the people that don't really understand. Mm-hmm. Birthright citizenship was set in place to slaves that were brought to this country against their will. It was not for the illegal immigrants that broke the law to come here pregnant and then give birth and then now you're a citizen. That's not what it was about. So, birthright citizenship has been being abused. Because people think they can come here pregnant or get pregnant, and as long as they push out a baby on American soil, that means that they're Americans. And I just love that is no longer. Ain't no better time to be a proud patriot than right now.
Say it louder, man. Birthright citizenship wasn't meant for people sneaking across that border to give birth and game the system. That wasn't what it was designed for. It was meant for descendants of slaves. The people who were brought here against their will. Now, you would think black people would, to get this news. I'm just saying. The people who were brought here against their will, that's who it was for. Not for the people breaking the law. No. And if you ask me, I think it's pretty much time for that loophole to get closed. What's your opinion on that? Let me know in the comments. And if you need proof, if you need even more proof that enforcing laws work, just take a listen to my man's right here, y'all.
In 1 week, I have seen in my city black men power washing parking lots, black men doing roofing work, black men doing lawn services around businesses in my city. Things are starting to look like the old days again. Black Man Thoughts 2.0, and I'm out. Peace. In 1
See
week.
this right here? This is proof. Look what happens when you stop rewarding illegal behavior, according to him. The jobs come back, the dignity comes back, the community comes back, power washing, roofing, landscaping, American hands doing American work again. That's the result of ICE doing their job. Definitely a pretty good side effect, if you ask me. So let me get this straight. ICE is out here cleaning up human trafficking, catching terrorists, removing crime from neighborhoods, and the media's response is to build an app to block deportations. I always say it ain't about politics. It's about good versus evil, y'all. It's about basic survival in this country. Enforce the law. Protect your people. Or watch the whole thing fall apart. Simple as that. Appreciate y'all for coming to kick it. Yet again, please go check on somebody today you can correlate to be saving their life. Peace.